They're obviously disappointed that they lost that best of 3, but should be an exciting matchup nonetheless. And of course, Alliance is, I mean, they're the top EU team overall because of, what was it, #1 in each DPC season, like going into the major.
Yeah, unfortunately for Alliance, their showings at the actual majors weren't what they had hoped. Just basically just bombed out both times. So obviously for them, they have a lot to prove here. And yeah, the whole thing about prep, I think, is pretty important. If you do talk about Dota with S4, he's a very intelligent player. The way he thinks about the game, I think he's a huge part of why Alliance won back at TI3. Just this overall understanding of macro movements in the game. Yeah. Alliance were outstanding in that tournament. It's obviously many years ago, but they kind of, I wouldn't say they pioneered split pushing because that was a concept that was known from back in Dota 1.
They perfected it.
But they mastered it at that event, and they did such a great job just playing the map at a different level from other teams that eventually they got caught up to, and then they started losing in subsequent tournaments after TI, but I think S4 really a clever player. So hopefully the prep that he has done going into this will show. But so far so good for T1 in the lanes, I would say. Carl in the mid lane, Lina against Ember. You know, this reminds me of a game we had yesterday. Was it Emo who played Ember against Shadow Fiend from Team Spirit? That was 2 days ago by now. Time flies when you're having fun. But it was the IG versus Team Spirit series in the upper bracket, where Emo got a last pick Ember into a known Shadow Fiend. Yep. So picked it into a losing lane, but they assessed that it was still worth it for its overall potential impact on the game, and they did end up winning that game, obviously. Limp in a similar situation here. Lina's a tough matchup. You're not going to win this lane ever if the players are equally matched. And I think Carl against Limp is a pretty fair lane matchup overall in terms of just raw lane mechanical skill. So I would imagine Carl will be pulling ahead here.
Yep, I mean, relatively even to start things out, but of course it is early, like you said. They're going to get each respective water rune. Nico Baby this time around will be playing the Morphling in this bot lane, and we can talk a bit about the Dawnbreaker, who gets canceled there. FNG, Shockwave brings him back in, and Zephyr secures the first blood with that last right click.
When you're playing these squishy 5s against Dawnbreaker, you need to be quick on your fingers. You need to be ready for that play to come. As soon as the Celestial Hammer goes out, you have to stun her. Hanskin hesitated for too long there, and sorry, FNG, not Hanskin. Let's focus on the right player here. Hesitated for too long with that Earth Spike and ended up taking 2 attacks from the Starbreaker. Yeah. That needs to get stopped instantly. As soon as the hammer gets thrown, you have to stun, and gets punished there, and Zephyr manages to get first blood. Very good for the Dawnbreaker. We'll be getting boots as a reward. This hero is exceptionally good at chasing down heroes because it's just so strong in lane. So with these freshly picked up boots, look for Zephyr to just go aggressive.
Now he's going to take some damage here, but we've talked about the Dawnbreaker support in the past, and some lineups feel a little iffy, as it were, especially as a support. Obviously, she's going to be very good in the laning stage, as we're seeing right now, but this game in particular, there are a lot of stuns that set up her ultimate for the later stage of the game. You have the Nightmare, you have the Fiend's Grip, obviously. LSA is pretty low cooldown, Wraith, Fire Blast as well, and then the huge RP. So literally every hero can theoretically set up the Solar Guardian, which, I mean, I think you and I agree is probably the most important aspect of that hero going mid-game and beyond.
Absolutely.
Top lane, Whitemon going to get caught out, takes considerable amount of damage, but will live through it. Nightmare into the Wraith Fire Blast now is 23 Savage, blocking S4. He will be able to walk away as those little skelly buddies are chasing him.
The boys, as we call them.
The boys. I think that's copyrighted by a TV show, Simran.
Oh.
Can't say that.
Okay. Well, hopefully they're not watching that. There's probably not that much overlap between the writers of that TV show and TI, but you never know.
You never know.
You get surprised sometimes with where people's interests lie. So,
especially you.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know what that was supposed to be.
Because you have no interest. That was the joke. Zephyr makes his way to the top lane. Wraith Fire Blast into the Starbreaker. The Burrow Strike is there in time for S4. He's going to take so much damage from that hammer.
I think one saving grace for Alliance here against the Dawnbreaker ult, like we talked about. Yes, you have a lot of good combos with it, but it's not a good Ags game at the very least. There's no hero on Alliance that really suffers against that 60% evasion. Morphling a lot of the time can, you know, go for more of a magic-based build with the E-Blade. And I think waveform, attack talent, and all this stuff that comes way later in the game, I think can't miss, if I'm not mistaken. I'm actually not 100% on that. Good waveform bottom. Aggressive play out to Cuckoo.
Looks like Cuckoo might take a tumble here. Has his skewer available, but is just completely stun locked by Alliance, who get their first kill of the game and this series.
Yeah, they can easily take advantage of that. With the Dawnbreaker rotation top, they know they're 2v1. Lion, one of the best supports in the game 2v1. Not that good 2v2, especially as a 5, but whenever you outnumber, you just have so much lockdown for your carry to just go to town. They do kill Cuckoo's mag, so he has still managed to almost find level 5 down here, so I don't think Cuckoo is too concerned. The game plan is coming along nicely. Lina and Wraith King are having total free games, basically. So, not the biggest of deals, but obviously Alliance will take what they can get in these lanes.
And Whitemon not able to secure the rune. Limp will still get that invisibility. As looking at the overall CS here, let me bring it up real quick. Wraith King sitting at 38 and 10 versus the 33 and 8 of the Morphling, so relatively even. Of course, 23 Savage will eventually go into the jungle. This is the thing I like about Wraith King as a position 1. It kind of creates space for some, like a position for like Dawnbreaker theoretically to get some farm once he enters that jungle.
Yeah.
Semi-full time, if that's even a word. We'll just go with
full time. That's called part-time, I believe.
Part-time job as S4 gets the Burrow Strike off. Whitemon taking some damage, but the Cookie ends up saving S4 for about 2 seconds, but Zephyr is there to clean up yet again. Seems to be everywhere, and he doesn't even have his ult yet.
No, he has a lot of freedom to move. Cuckoo is doing such a good job playing alone down here. He's almost level 6, so you don't even feel bad about this if you're Zephyr. Might even end up killing Hanskin here if Limp doesn't come over to help.
He's going for it. Limp
has the hammer.
And not going to pursue any further. Cuckoo getting some mana drained here. Has to secure out the safety. That means he's completely depleted.
Surely Zephyr doesn't do this, right? Okay. It almost looked like he was going to try to dive him in the base.
It's 7 minutes. Yeah.
Learned from Cuckoo from yesterday. Just go for it, and then if you fail, you just write, we need wards. So
that's true.
He did have a ward.
That is the play. Oh, Earth Spike into the waveform. Cuckoo looks to be done again. So 2 kills in this lane for Alliance.
Yeah.
Nico Baby and company starting to get back into this game, which, I mean, it's not like it's out of reach by any means, but T1 definitely off to a slightly better start right now.
And Nico claiming that is very, very good for his economy. 250 extra gold here. Getting the treads flown out now. Very curious to see what build he goes for, right? Because as the draft panel pointed out, there are some aspects of this game that can be dangerous to Morphling. So you could maybe see him go for something like a Lincoln Sphere against Bane, which isn't necessarily ideal. Okay, FNG in trouble.
Starbreaker not going to fully connect on FNG. Limp gets the nice cookie, stun, and the regen rune, and Carl just getting kited around. Another kill goes the way of Alliance. As FNG taking some harassment, but looks like he will live through the day thanks to the support of the rest of his team.
Yeah, great rotation there. Bringing Hanskin was crucial to killing off the Lina. They're going to smoke here in full vision, though. So T1 definitely know that this is happening. Let's see if they guess the right move, though. FNG mana burning here. Zephyr's going to walk right into him.
Yeah, the fact that Zephyr is level 4 despite being involved in so many kills is kind of weird, actually. Feels like he should be a higher level right now, but
he hasn't taken much lane. That's what you trade off when you leave the off lane, right? It's that you give the Magnus the solo experience, and while kills are nice, if you don't soak up any lane space, you don't progress, right? So I think now that Zephyr is showing mid, he might even sit here all the way until level 6, because Bane will need the tome in this game. So we might just park him here. As you pointed out, top lane is also an option. You could just put the Dawnbreaker in the safe lane, put Wraith King into the jungle. But this way you're definitely going to get more gold on Wraith King if you let him take the lane and the big camp. But S4 making sure that is not the case here. Digging that up with a bounty, getting a bounty rune out of his good old shovel. He's going to adjust it.
Whitemon with a quick Burrow Strike. There's the stun from Zephyr. And S4 looks to be mega dead here. Actually does a nice job of sidestepping the Starbreaker, but it just delays the inevitable here.
And keep in mind, this is a Sand King with Vanguard against the Wraith King Skeletons, and he still dies. So you can't really be tankier than this at this point as Sand King with Soul Ring Vanguard, but it's just not enough against these 3 heroes. Alliance looking a little bit lost over here in the triangle, I gotta say. They've been standing here for quite a long time, and they're just on top of a ward, so essentially kind of wasting their time. They obviously don't know this, but T1 are just not gonna go there. And you understand what Alliance are thinking. You're playing against a lineup that has Magnus Wraith King. You're assuming there's going to be big Ancient stacks, but T1 honestly haven't really paid much attention to that area just yet. So I don't know if this is going to be something we see developing as like a new meta almost, where teams, because of the anticipation that the opposite team are going to invade your triangle, you just don't focus on it that much early unless you feel like you can clearly defend it, and you just don't
stack. Next level thinking, essentially.
Right. Then you
Nightmare, LSA, here comes the Solar Guardian as well, but S4 able to get the Burrow Strike off in time to at least create a little bit of distance, but again, completely outnumbered with 4 members of T1 in the vicinity.
He is now 0-4. It was what Fogg was talking about. This happens in a lot of games for offlane sanking, especially if he's left alone. And now, finally, all right, FNG, I think, took the Tome of Knowledge, so he's going to make a move with Limp. They have Finger of Death. Could very easily burst anyone they find, except Wraith King, who can, of course, put a point in the ultimate. They will find Carl. That would be a very big pick.
Yeah, this would be a huge one. It looks like it's going to be an easy one on top of that. FNG gets his first Finger stack of the game. Now some pressure being applied to this tier 1 mid in favor of Alliance.
Great move here. They do that in connection with the Siege Creep being alive mid, and FNG is going to tank this at least for a bit. Okay, Mortimer kisses.
Searing Chains with the Mortimer's kisses. Look, oh, it's from super long range. Great anticipation as well. Alliance.
Very,
the tier 1
nice
as well.
Alliance, yeah, getting the mid tower out of that original smoke move onto the Lina. That's a very high value play. More or less equalizing the game with that, actually. They were starting to fall 2k gold behind, but found a lot out of that. And of course, let's keep in mind, Nico Baby is getting a lot of space as well. Opting to go for first item Skadi here. Interesting choice.
Wow,
obviously.
First item. Well, after Morbid Mask, but that's... I don't know if I've ever seen that, actually.
It's not the most common build. A lot of the times you see Morph getting some sort of a build-up item, like sometimes you get Yasha, sometimes you get a full Manta, sometimes you see the Diffusal if it's a good game for that.
Super good Scotty game against Wraith King and Dawnbreaker and the likes, as Bane's going to be taken out.
Oh
FNG though,
God,
Savage. Yep. 3 shots from him.
I love Armlet on Wraith King. It is such a good item. Whether, like, whatever you go after, if it's the Silver Edge build or the Deso, or I guess in some edge cases Radiance, I really like the Armlet first. You just hit such a strong peak already 10 minutes in with these 2 items. You saw him basically 2-shotting Lion there with that massive crit. 270% critical strike damage on a 4-second cooldown is no joke.
That's the old CK skill, too. They kind of swapped.
Yeah.
Poor CK. I guess people are more have an affinity towards Wraith King more than CK these days, anyway.
Yeah. Well, what they did do for CK, though, they increased the chance, right? I think at some point the critical strike was 11% chance. Now it's 33, and the numbers were obviously tweaked.
11? Are you sure about
I'm pretty
that?
sure it used to be that. It's a long time
11?
ago. We're both old.
I'm going to say 18, just
okay,
so
so here's one of the perks of being old, okay? You have a lot of things you can remember. You also have a lot of things you can't remember, and a lot of things you might misremember, which makes for great conversation. Because sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, but at the very least, people are talking.
Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, and you're always an idiot as well.
Yeah, that is true. That comes with getting older.
Indeed. My bottom lane, tier 1 tower getting harassed a bit here as Limp and company.
This could be a strong flank
in the area.
for
Yeah, we're seeing the
T1.
flank now from T1. 23 Savage.
Someone's in trouble.
Handskin in the trees. They can get Limp. That'll be the high priority target. Looks like it'll be Handskin instead. The rest of his team abandons him, but with good reason.
Alliance dipping there with 1 death is very good. Considering what angle T1 got there and how Alliance's heroes were positioned, that could have gone way worse if 23 Savage could have found a higher priority target.
The question is, does T1 actually want to push this? Because S4 looks to be mounting some sort of defense. S4 not too far away from a Blink Dagger himself. This wave will almost ensure that he picks that up, in fact. And with that, likely to try to get something started. And of course, this is the beauty of Zephyr, like you talked about so many times. Or I should say, Dawnbreaker.
1 time.
Well, we know we've talked about this.
Actually, twice. I did
We've
talk about it
had a couple
twice.
games here.
See, that's one of the perks of being old. You can just make, you know, was
Where
it once
am
or
I?
twice? I don't know. You talked about it a lot. You know?
Anyway, to finish the thought that you rudely interrupted,
Sorry.
Solar Guardian just allows you to be everywhere. It's like a mini haunt.
Oh, not this
It's
again.
like a haunt on a support hero. You can push the lanes really easily and then join the fight whenever.
Yep.
And if you die, it's really not that big of a deal.
All right, so if you're confused about what he just said, the point he's making is it's a global ability, okay? That was the point of the haunt. It has nothing else in common with that ability.
I really appreciate
It
that.
is global.
Gugu, he's going to skewer as a fish. Will be out as a result. S4 Has the Burrow Strike to cancel the TP, and Hanskin and company should be able to clean up Vayne pretty easily.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me,
mid tower though.
The extension was updated today with a bunch of new features, one of which was the most, what is community out, well, what am I trying to say? The one that people wanted the most, which is the top bar has the skills videos as well.
Very
so
nice.
If you don't understand a word that we're trying to actually explain in terms of the abilities, you can look for yourself. Makes our job a lot easier. Also takes over our
in the
job
future we won't need to say anything. It will just be, all of it will be in the tool.
That's right.
The tool will just start communicating as well. It will cast for us.
Yeah, the AI will take over one day. I think we agree on this. You could be the leader of that. S4 pushing out that bot lane. As you can see the steering chains here. I don't think that Alliance wants to push 2K net worth lead for T1 though. As looks like BKB just about to be finished on Carl.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the go time for each respective team? Because we have the Blink Dagger on S4. We don't have the Blink quite yet on Cuckoo. He went for the Helm, which we've been seeing a lot in this tournament.
Like you said, the dagger is coming out to Magnus.
Okay, so it's on its way. Great.
He does have the dagger.
But what's the go time?
T1's timing is really, really strong right now, actually. They got Dagger, BKB, as well as the Deso on Wraith King. So there are a lot of potential plays opening up for them right now. I think looking for the bottom tier 1 tower and maybe even finding a fight would be great. And then you can think about Roshan, perhaps. Wraith King, pretty good hero at killing Rosh. Yeah. So especially with this item build. Alliance, what do they have coming up? So Morph is going to get the Scotty.
Skewer back to Cuckoo.
Oh, he's dead.
Continue your thought, please.
Yeah, so Scotty coming up on Morph. Ember is going Kaya Sanj with Brown Boots. Not sure how good that's going to be in this game for Limp, but obviously he is very far behind the Lina, so perhaps you just need to get a little bit creative with which direction you're going. And those are pretty much the big items. FNG, only 300 away from a Blink, as a matter of fact, so maybe he can get that too. As 5 line, that's not a bad timing. No. Around 18 minutes, pretty good.
It looks like T1 will finally get this tier 1 bot. And
Nico baby.
Now let's say he's going to connect. There's a Fiend's Grip from afar as well. Laguna Blade finishes off Nico baby. Hanskin trying to take out the tower, but it's very healthy.
For lack of a better word, that seemed a bit naive, almost. It's obvious from our perspective with the vision that we have, but you're pushing the top tier 1 tower with only Snapfire protecting you, not something like a Blink Sand King that can instantly interrupt spells like Grip Clear or counter the Lina. But also T1 weren't really showing that many heroes to inspire you with the confidence to go for that play. So I think Alliance bit over a little bit more than they could chew there. And yeah, what did T1 effectively use? Only really Fiend's Grip. Laguna Blade is a low cooldown. That's going to be ready again. They still have RP. I think if you're T1 and you find this double damage rune here, you're like, all right, let's just go Rosh.
Yep.
Your team fight is available. So.
And we're going to have a smoke from Alliance. We'll see if they find a kill here. Sleight is going to dodge some spells from Carl.
Oh my
23
God.
Savage jumps in, and it's going to be a very quick kill on the Hanskin. In the meantime, Epicenter goes off, but there's the RP to counter it. And T1 taking 3 kills for themselves and taking basically no damage in this engagement.
Yeah, 23 Savage almost one-shot a Snapfire with Medallion.
Double damage as well.
They even find Nico,
baby. Let's get off the attribute shift, though. Wow. Yeah, double damage still there for 23 Savage, and into the Roche pit they go. T1 starting to run away with things.
Yeah, this is starting to get really ugly. They're just flat out outclassing Alliance right now. These last 5 minutes have not been pretty. They kind of equalized the early game Alliance did after having a tough lane mid, but haven't really been able to find much momentum from Limp on the Ember Spirit. And the games we've seen Ember win in this tournament have largely been off. You know, you get out of lane, either you do very well or you at least stay afloat, and then the team sets up moves for you. Your hero is very high tempo, can do a lot, but it just hasn't really been the case for Alliance here. So you see this smoke and broken, rather.
Boom.
Not broke, that's just... Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage.
They even find Limp bottom here in the picture-in-picture bottom right. Not sure if our observer found Limp, but
his dead body somewhere.
We can pinpoint the position of the corpse.
I mean, he's specifically having a pretty rough game. 8K net worth versus the 10.5 from Lina.
Oh, Hanskin. Good ward placement. He will get some info and actually survive this, perhaps. It's going on quite the walk.
Yep, LSJ, Carl trying to find some more. TPs from Alliance are coming in, but the double burrow strike S4. BKB popped by Carl, though, and FNG is just going to go down to the right clicks. Nico Baby trying to find some sort of collateral kill here. Whitemon's just going to nightmare him. And 23 Savage in the vicinity. Completely surrounded is Nico Baby. And 4 dead for Alliance, although technically Ember died quite a while before that. Hanskin, the last remaining member for now, attempting to TP. Will be fine. And T1 just dominating this game number 1 of this best of 3. And again, if you're just joining us, this is an elimination series.
Yeah, crucial there, right? They go for the tower dive, S4 with a very good TP and Sandstorm double stun, but where's the follow-up? The other heroes just aren't in position. The way this starts is as a 10-second dive on Snapfire. They're taking so long to get in behind the tower and in position. You need more resources there. Like, if you want to take this fight, you need all the key heroes ready. You know you're behind in the game. You're not going to win fights 3v5. So either you bring the whole cavalry or you just drop it and lose a hero there. But Alliance tries to do a bit of both, and that's just not going to cut it at this level. And T1 there doing a great job at administering their heroes, bringing them all around together, finding the team moves. And, I mean, it's easy to say what Alliance have to do. It's a lot harder to do it.
Yeah, as you can see, the win probability greatly in favor of T1 as expected after getting off to this really, really fast start.
Yep. Gabe Newell's favorite hero used to be Sand King, as we've talked about before.
That is true.
That's
the 6%.
He moved on from it, right?
Oh, okay. 23
okay.
Savage. Yep, easy kill for him again. All right, that is a big kill for Alliance onto Carl. That's exactly what they need here. Unfortunately for them, 23 Savage still applying pressure to the tier 2 mid.
Yeah, that's gone.
And it's just going to go down. Aegis hasn't even been claimed yet. Oh wait. Yeah.
This item on Wraith King is so good. Brigand's Blade, the neutral, because your first hit does so much damage that you immediately get into the threshold where it starts mattering really quickly. Crazy good. Okay, trivia.
Huskar.
Trivia.
Huskar's the answer.
Trivia after this fight.
All right, we got. Oh, that's not much of a fight. FNG's dead. Nico Baby waveforming to safety. 23 Savage and company not going to pursue any further.
You sure?
Whitemon, okay, he gets a Fiend's Grip off. This will be another big kill for T1. Nope, Starbreaker not able to connect. He's going to be able to remnant it away for now. Escort taking so much damage will just be brought down to the right clicks alone. Whitemon finally dies. Such a pesky Bane Elemental. And Alliance getting some trades here.
Yeah, that's pretty good for Alliance given the circumstances. So you get a kill. Nico Baby gets 2, actually. He gets Cuckoo as well as Whitemon, so it's going to make some item progression here.
Yep.
Eyeing up a Linken's, this doesn't feel like a very strong build to me, just because, like, you're going to have these stats, but you don't have that massive combo play with, say, a Sand King when you go Ags, or some massive damage output from an E-Blade. So I'm just worried that the damage isn't going to be there when T1's heroes get a little bit bigger. That's going to be my main concern.
Is this one of those instances where when you're behind, you want to take more risks to try to get back into the game, and going Linken's just feels too safe almost?
It's the thing, you know, I love to say this. You're playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And playing not to lose in this day and age in Dota rarely works in my experience. If you're behind, you need to go for the... Let's say you have 15% chance of winning with a play, right? If it's the best chance you have, you take it, even though the odds are terrible. Because the alternative is even worse, which is you don't go for it, and then you just lose by default. And that is something I think, you know, not that we're going to be talking a lot about public games or anything, but I think that's a mentality that people are not particularly good at adapting to in their public games, is that if you're far behind, hiding away is not a winning strategy, pretty much ever, unless the enemy team is going to throw in your base.
Which happens.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the level of play, right? It happens more often in
pubs than in pro play, though, right? So
it depends on the level of play, of course, but yeah, sometimes you just got to take the risk, even if the odds aren't good. Carl will be spotted up by S4. Well, who found who, actually? Yeah,
that's a good question. FNG jumps in. Comes a Solar Guardian, though, and just like that, T1 is here in numbers. FNG sacrificing himself to the gods here as S4 gets horn tossed and likely will be brought down next. So 2 quick kills for T1. And Alliance attempting to get out of dodge, but Hanskin gonna get spotted out. 23 Savage. Yeah, his arm length is apparently goes through Fog of War.
All right, here's my trivia. If you know this, what is something you would really want me to give you if you're right? I'm very confident you don't know this.
Okay, a Snickers.
A Snickers, okay. If you're right, you'll get... All right, that's some free product placement right there.
True. I'll get you a Noble
What
chip.
is the name of the passive of Brigand's Blade?
the passive.
Yeah, the effect that
there's no way. It's like something Mercy.
It's called Dark Mercy. That was pretty.
Yeah, I remember reading it. I couldn't remember the first word.
No idea. That's pretty good. You can get half a bar for that.
Right,
that's pretty impressive.
Are you going to eat the first?
If
I
that
don't
gets you
want
all
that.
excited, I will do it. I will do that for you. I'm a good friend.
So you say.
Oh, that's actually a Jenkins quote. Let's pretend I never said that.
True. So T1, yeah, this is shellacking for sure so far. Question is, what can Alliance do? They're going for that safe build on Nico Bay with the Lincoln Sphere. And really limp his build. It feels like, I mean, he has the BKB, which is really needed. The casual Sange, Maelstrom helps you farm, but
Nico is queuing up a Satanic next.
Really?
Again, okay. I'm just worried about the damage, right? Like, Ember went Sange into BKB.
Well, I think, no, he's still going Lincolns, though, right? He has the ultimate orb.
He's queued it as his next quick buy, which usually when pro players do that is like, okay, the thought process is there, right? You're like, okay, this is the next thing I want. I think looking at Alliance's lineup, there's still a lot of value to an E-Blade, just because if you get a Blink Hex from Lion onto, say, Lina, you can actually burst someone instantly with all of the magic damage you have, but you're not really taking advantage of it. The downside to that kind of build is, well, where's your physical component in a lineup that's almost purely magical? So then that would be a problem. But this way you have neither, kind of, right? Yeah. Your Morphling can play to survive, but he's not really going to kill, I think. So worrying here for Alliance, but of course, if they do win one fight because Morph survives and turns it around, then maybe they can find...
Quick Hex. S4. No, not going to go for the Epi.
Yeah. Good damage onto 23 Savage, but one of the great boons to Wraith King is this lifesteal. So 2 hits on the wave heals a lot.
And Nico Baby now with the Lincolns online. And yeah, a lot of, I mean, I guess not a lot. There's a decent amount of single target skills from T1 to take that off. But from Bane, it just takes so long to cast, right? Even in Feeble, it's a bit of a process, and especially against something like Morph. I can see the thought process for sure.
The cast point of Enfeeble is actually not that bad.
Did they? I guess they've changed that skill so much.
Yeah, I think it's a while ago that got changed, but it's always been considered a good Lincoln's Breaker skill just because it's high cast range and it's such a... I don't want to say unimportant spell, but you know what I mean, right? You're not throwing away your Nightmare to break a Lincoln so you don't have it defensively. This is one of the best spells in the game, in my opinion, against Lincoln. So all Whitemon needs to do is have good positioning, break the Lincolns with the Enfeeble, and then he can look for Fiend Script or Nightmare, whatever he wants to do on that Morph. All right, Burrow Strike.
S4, 23 Savage.
They are poking him quite well here.
Nice armlet toggle for now. He has the Deso going for the AC next.
Very close.
He will live.
Good
of course, he does have 2 lives, so it'd be difficult to take him out regardless.
All right, Sunsven trivia.
Oh boy.
For the second half of your March. What is the passive of Dragon Scale?
That I have no idea. Let's say armor.
You know, based on some of the naming conventions we've had recently, that's not a bad guess. It is called Afterburn.
Yeah, I would not. That sounds like a shaving product almost. As we have Alliance.
Do you want to advertise some more things here? What's the plan?
Not ready to go out quite yet. Cinderin is Alliance trying to do something here against T1, but the longer they wait, the more the deficit becomes, it seems. Limp will just be TPing out for now, but has a Remnant available to come back into the fight if he wants.
That is a tanky courier. 23 Savage will get his Elven Tunic.
Yeah, and completed
What is
AC.
the passive of Elven Tunic?
I don't look at...
It doesn't have one. It was a trick question.
Well, technically it does have a passive.
3 passives, but no name.
No names.
All right.
Understood.
Dewarding here.
Oh my God! Woo! Holy jeez! Gaben, Lord Almighty.
Literal one-shot.
FNG. That hurt me.
You know, you're used to expecting this out of a PA in this stage of the game, but Wraith King essentially right now, that is the Wraith King version of 1 dagger and I'm die.
Yeah. I don't know. 29 minutes PA.
One-shot.
I don't expect that still. Maybe 39.
With Mag on the team and a Deso? I don't know. I think I would kind of expect that.
Okay, well.
We have different levels of expectancy. I guess the PAs in your game don't have the same items at minute 29.
That's right, so they're in S4, trying to mount some sort of a defense here, but this is with the Aegis online for Carl. Obviously, Wraith King doesn't need one. Although we do see them take it relatively often, but I like to see it on the Lina this game. Considerable amount of damage done to that tier 3 top, and T1 going to reset.
Carl hits really hard with this Empower. I think in a way it's still underappreciated when we commentate Empower. We are always focused on the melee heroes that get cleaves, so they can farm Ancients, etc. But having any hero that just attacks a lot inherently just gives Empower value, even if it's ranged, right? Alina has insane attack speed, so she's probably one of the best Empower heroes in the meta right now, actually. Better than some melee heroes. Oh my god.
Oh boy, the hack.
Look at the damage.
LSA's not going to hit though. Carl,
Oh!
one of the few mistakes from T1 this game. Pretty much a masterful performance thus far.
Oh.
But they won't sweat it, I'm sure, as this lead is
the chat wheel game is on point. No mistake there. Playing the sad trombone is very appropriate there.
Yeah, oh, we got the horn toss with the skewer into the RP. S4 is going to be the first to fall in all likelihood. Nico Baby staying alive at half. We'll get up to safety. So just one kill with that RP, but Carl Pasta BKB gets the LSA with a buyback onto S4 now. Starbreaker connects. Here comes a Solar Guardian as well. Nico Baby, very tanky right now with that Lincoln Sphere. Nice Burrow Strength Epicenter combination from S4. Never trying to get to safety with that hammer, but it's not going to happen. So the 1-for-1 with the buyback. Carl and company. Looks like they're going to lose the Dawn Break at the very least. S4 continuing to be a pest here with these Burrow Strikes. Gets one kill. Looks like Great King is next. That's after the reincarnation, so T1 have to back off.
That's a very
nice
good
defense
hold
from Alliance.
Yeah, they only had to use a Sand King buyback and all of that. Arguably, maybe, you know, Carl getting a little bit overzealous trying to kill the Morph. As we've talked about, it's a tanky Morphling, and you don't necessarily have to kill Nico Baby in a position like that. You can safely, you know, go for other heroes that die a lot faster or try to push the tower, but got a little bit bloodthirsty. You can get carried away in these positions, and again, this RP is good, but great counterplay from Hanskin to get that double Earth Spike. Lina didn't pre-BKB for this. And that will save Nico Baby getting him out. And this is where the overcommitment happens, right? So you go for this, go very, very deep. Solar Guardian, I believe, got interrupted here by another good 2-hero stun from FNG. And now you're just in a really compromised position. Limp also
not only
doing tons
is
of damage here.
Morphling tanky, but it's not really doing that much damage. It's not like he went the E-Blade build or anything like that, so you can just go for the other kills.
And now Nico has the item I like to see. He's got the Axe, so now he can turn into Sand King, and that's big. This gives them a double Burrow Strike combination play. You need to be careful. He's taking so much damage.
He is, but looks like he's fine for now. He's left creating a lot of space here with the Laguna Blade. S4 a little bit too far this time.
Yeah, and he doesn't have buyback, and T1 obviously know this. Just bought back in the enemy base, so this does open up a potential push down mid play for them.
And that actually is pretty big because Morphling can't turn into Sand King
Carl
now.
found Limp with the blink stun.
The Centaur stop not going to be there in time. Limp, BKB attempting to TP, but the RP cancel. Down he goes. Does have buyback though. Still a minute 20 left on the Aegis for T1. But best case scenario for Alliance, this is a 5 versus 4 once this buyback comes out. But like I said, Morphling can't turn into Sand King for another 40 seconds, so this Ag, like, Snapfire could be good later in the game. I don't even know. Do the talents even... Does that work through talents once you get the little shredder thing? As this Rax is going to be a complete freebie for T1.
So fast. Like, Lina is just an absolute artillery. That's not really the right word. Machine gun was what I was looking for. Going straight in for the
Cinder, and your favorite. Carl, Laguna Blade, down goes Snapfire. They're trying to preserve the buyback. Nope, not anymore. That's 2 right off the bat here. And you can see S4 will be back in 10 seconds, but it's going to be 2 full sets of racks for T1.
Yeah. And they might back off here and wait for the next RP. You don't have to risk any push here in order to finish the game. If you wait 50 seconds, you might feel like it's pretty much in the bag. Gaben giving Alliance 1% here.
Okay.
Very gracious.
I mean, to be fair, S4 in that original high ground defense did a really good job.
Gaben gives them 0. He's had enough.
Oh, boy.
You started talking about Sand King, and Gaben was like, I don't like this hero anymore. So there goes your last percent. Thanks, Sunsfan. You ruin everything you touch, don't you?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Aegis is now
kind of like Kyle with predictions.
Yeah, that's actually an uncanny skill that he has.
That's pretty impressive.
And T1 looking to finish this game, although no Aegis to work with now, and Alliance obviously know that, and this is going to be their best chance to win a fight. Look for Nico Baby to morph into S4 soon.
I bet Kyle, I challenge you, Kyle, to tweet right now. T1 has this in the bag.
Yeah.
Let's see how strong the curse is. If you do that and T1 end up losing, you will get a candy bar of your choice from me.
Of your choice? Wow. He might
There
not have time to actually take out his
and
phone.
maybe quite exquisite and expensive candy bars out there if you know where to look. So it's a lot to gain here for Kyle, and no risk even.
That's true. Well, the risk is ruining his image of getting everything wrong.
That's true. That's actually pretty valuable to him, I think.
I think so, too. He's really enjoying that.
Yep. Has to be fun.
T1 looks like they're ready to go and trying to finish this game. S4 wants to defend. See how much they have in the tank here. Well, T1 going to be happy with the tier 3. We'll back and reset.
Roche can respawn in 2 minutes. If you want to, you can wait for this.
I can't blame them. I mean, this is
High stakes.
TI10, lower bracket. Another shout out. You can actually check the bracket right now. That's a new addition to the extension. If you go to the standings, it shows the full bracket. Very nicely done.
Okay, Sunsfan, I have a trivia for you.
Oh, boy.
What is the pass
Enough with these passes!
of Mindbreaker called? I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
You like very simple names.
Silence.
That's the first word. What is the second word?
Is it silent something?
Yes.
Silent strike.
Silence strike. Okay, you get your
Oh,
full That's a really good
right.
guess.
Thank you.
All right.
Beautiful.
Definitely didn't look over my shoulder there and
No,
cheated the test.
I would never do that.
No,
to
you actually didn't, did you? I trust you.
Why would I?
You have so much to gain from this.
No, I'd like to look like an
Your
idiot,
image.
actually.
Oh, that's true. You and Kyle should start a team.
Maybe we should start a new podcast together. Might be an opening pretty soon. Is 31K net worth lead for T1. And definitely playing a little bit disciplined. Cuckoo.
Portas.
Yeah, Portas is there, and S4 is dead. 60 seconds on the deck.
That skewer range
No
talent
buyback.
is so absurd. Like, you're expecting that skewer to stop any second now, and it just keeps going.
Yeah. I mean, this feels like, I mean, you talked about Elder Titan. I feel like Magnus feels like the hero of the tournament right now in a lot of ways.
He is doing very
Getting
well.
through a lot. As you see the overwhelming blink. Oh, man, we didn't even catch that on camera, but a lot of damage being done by T1. And it looks like the Fiend's Grip is there as GG's will come out for game 1. This was a shellacking, Synderen. Yeah. T1 up 1-0.
No need to sugarcoat it, really. That was just